Okay, welcome. This is the third video in this video tutorial series for AutoCAD Electrical. And in this video, we are going to be looking at the different substation layouts and, of course, their details. So, yeah, like I said earlier, feel free to pause the screen if you need to read the details. So, first we have the single bus bar substation layout. It looks just like that. I'm not going to bother with the description, advantages, and whatnot. Yeah, but this is a summary. There's an incoming line. We have a disconnect just right before the circuit breaker, and then another disconnect after the circuit breaker. Then you'll be having a bus bar. A bus bar is what is used for distribution of power. It's like it connects all the other circuits to a common point. So that is the role of a bus bar. And of course, after for each feeder or circuit, we should have a disconnect before a circuit breaker. Then, in case you have a transformer should be placed between two circuit breakers and a disconnect at the end. So this is one of the feeders. And then for the other feeder, it's on the same voltage level as the incoming transmission line. So something like that. And moving on, we have another variation of the single bus bar layout, where we have a bus coupler in between. It's basically two bus bars, but arranged as a single bus bar. So we should have a bus coupler like that, or you could call it a sectionalizer. Yeah, you could also call it a sectionalizer. And in this case, we'll have two transmission lines. They may or may not work simultaneously. Like what I mean, they may be switched on at the same time or one at a time, depending on the power requirements, of course. And if in case you're drawing power from this line, you have to switch these on. You have to energize the circuit breaker, that is to say, and then energize the other two branches which are not getting from this side. So it's still a single bus bar layout. Then moving on, we have a double bus bar substation layout. It has two bus bars, and you connect power to each bus bar supply. It could be the same voltage. Of course, it has to be the same voltage being supplied to the two bus bars. Okay, so in case there's failure on one bus bar, power is drawn from the other, so the other works as a backup. As you can see, this is our arrangement. And of course, these are disconnects or switches, and then a circuit breaker. So I'm sure you know the difference between a circuit breaker and a disconnect. Circuit breaker triggers a reaction when there's a fault in the network or circuit, so it will trip. But a disconnect doesn't do it. It's manual. You have to turn off manually. So we have that. The ratings you see here is just an example. It's not like the double bus bar layout should be using these ratings. So that is just an example for what I already drew in AutoCAD Electrical. So we have a third type of layout called the 1.5 breaker. And in this one, we have 3 breakers for every 2 circuits. Meaning each circuit is going to use 1.5 of the middle circuit breaker. So that is that configuration. Again, it also uses 2 bus bars. It's almost the same as a double bus bar, but with this slight difference around here. Again, these are just an example of the ratings I've used in AutoCAD. Of course, for details, you can read some textbooks on substation layouts to get the full picture. So there's a ring substation layout where so in the ring substation layout, circuit breakers are arranged on a bus bar, and the bus bar has a configuration of a ring. So a circuit breaker is placed around the bus bar. Like circuit breakers are placed in between the circuit bar. So meaning the circuit bar is sectionalized and circuit breakers are placed in between. So the incoming transmission line and the feeders have to be placed in the middle of like in between two circuit breakers, as you can see here in this configuration. Again, there's some example of kind of ratings that can be used with this configuration. And then finally, we have the mesh substation layout. This one is similar to the ring layout. In most textbooks, they combine the two. They will call it a ring bracket mesh substation layout. But the expanded version of the mesh layout is this one, where the only difference is you can have two lines, circuit breakers, usually four of them for the mesh, and it's at the corners of the mesh. The mesh is more of a rectangle or a square with the circuit breakers on the edges, unlike the vertex. So for the vertices, that's where you place the lines, either the incoming line or the feeder or the outgoing line. So you place them at the corner. So you can place up to two per corner. You can place up to two per corner. So meaning you can have up to 8 circuits connected to the mesh. Unlike the ring configuration where you have to place one circuit in between two circuit breakers, so this is a slight difference. But in a sense, you can think of mesh as a ring substation layout. Okay, moving on, we are going to create this in AutoCAD Electrical, and it will give you a full picture of how you can do the rest. I'm not going to cover all 5, just one of them is enough to give you a full picture. I already have them here, I've already drawn them here, as you can see. So I'm just going to draw one of them. I'm going to I'll just draw the mesh, and then you can get a full picture of how to draw the rest. Okay. You can always pause the video and get a closer look on what this is, in case you are stuck somewhere or you've gotten confused. You can always pause the video. This one is the double. I think I should start from the first one. So here I have the single bus bar layout. So we have the incoming transmission line. So there's a downward arrow, there's a disconnect switch, there's a circuit breaker, and disconnect, bus bar, and so on. Okay, in that template. Then we have the sectionalized version over here. So I call this the bus coupler, but in essence it's a circuit breaker as well. And bus bar, the rest is the same. I've indicated the voltage levels, unlike in our presentation. So here I've indicated everything. Then for my title block, that's the title I'm using. I'll show you how to add other details. And so I'm sure you can figure out the rest. This is the double bus bar layout with a double bus, double breaker. There's double bus, double breaker, and then there's also double bus, single breaker. Okay, so that is the difference. So the difference is here we only have disconnects, and then a circuit breaker will be associated with a feeder. So that is single breaker, but double bus bar and then single breaker. Then for double bus bar and double breaker, you have a breaker for each line drawn from a bus bar. You'll have a breaker. So that is where the difference is. And of course, a breaker after a transformer as a must. So there's no need to put a breaker here because you already have two of them here. So there's no need to put one here, but you can put one after the transformer. And the one that has no transformer, there's no need to put a breaker. But of course, you can have a circuit breaker around here, depending on the requirements. Yeah. Okay. So before we start drawing, I'm going to show you how I've added these other templates, because I used one template that has this paper layout, and then I opened another one with this paper layout, then I just did a copy. It's very easy. I'll show you. So from the start, you go to new, and you can browse the template. I'm not going to use this one because this is only for F4, or you can use for F3 or any other thing you want, but I'm not going to use this. I prefer to use something different, so I preferred to use something different, so I had to go with this is A1, so I don't want this one. So I'm looking for anything that has IEC. So SCE is AutoCAD Electrical, then there's IEC, but then the A is for the paper, version and size. So A1, A2, A3. So I only used A3 and A4. So for the A4 color, there's our preview. If the drawing is a bit small, you can use this. Or this. It's the same thing actually, only that one has more colors, I think. And then for if the drawing is bigger than what you need to fit on an A4, then you can use A3. Yeah, like that. So what I did is to open an A4 first, and then I opened an A3. So I merely took a copy of this. Okay, I just selected the thing and I pressed Ctrl C to copy, then moved to the other template that has an A4 and paste it somewhere, Ctrl V. Okay, it's as simple as that. I just put it there, and then for the other template, I just made multiple copies of this, because when you open the drawing with that template, it will only give you one of them. So you can just make a copy of that. You can choose any base point and you can make as many copies as you wish. Okay, so it's as simple as that. So to start drawing, we are going to use, I will first add the symbols. I could merely copy the ones I already have, but I want to show you from scratch. So you go to icon menu. Of course, the other details you already know. I showed you in the first, I think in the second video. When you have your project files within the project directory, go to properties, and here you need to add the various libraries that you hope to use. So majorly this is what we are using. So you go for IEC something, that version, or IEC any other version. But the rest are not really important. Okay, you don't need the rest, just this one is enough. So it's very easy. Just click this, make sure it's clicked, click add. So you will see that prompt where you click browse in order to add, but I'm not going to do that because I already did that last time. So and then also make sure the schematic icon menu file is set to something. Actually mine is, I don't really think this step matters a lot, because you still have the same symbols, because I'm using IEEE, but you could you are required to use, in this case we should use this. Okay, but I don't really think it will affect the symbols that are there. Now to start adding symbols, we're going to start with the the arrows that show transmission and feeder. So we um, look for this under miscellaneous. It's like there are two miscellaneous. There's one line component, but look for the other one which is alone. So under miscellaneous, look for wire arrow reference only. So since our drawings are starting top to bottom, we'll start with we'll need an arrow like this for incoming transmission. So first I'll place them outside my template, and then later on after I arrange everything, I'll just copy and paste. So I'll just move the whole thing inside the template. So what did I do there? Oh, I went to the other drawing. Okay, so this is my drawing. So now I'll go for another symbol. I'll go for the other arrow. This is the one for the feeder. So I will use this one, generic downward arrow. We have the one that to show incoming power, and then the one that shows power continues to a circuit or something. So I'll just place it here. I won't add any description. Then I'll look for you go over to terminals and connectors. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to choose this one. You can edit it later. I'll put it here, and then I'll just simply click OK. So I'll uncheck this because I don't need any details, and then click close. So alright, so what else? I'm going to just double click this and get rid of it entirely. This is -1, and that minus, click OK, and then I'll have to make a copy of this and then flip it around. So I'm going to do this. You go to home, and first of all make a copy. Okay, 2 copies are enough. So we're going to rotate one of them. Rotate, make it face the other side. I think that is okay. So I'm going to make another copy of both. So let's copy and put them here. So I want the ones which are facing down now. So rotate. I want this to face upwards. I want this to face downwards. So rotate. Just like that at 90 degrees. And yeah, so that is it. So I'm going to add something else. Go back to schematic, icon menu, and add a transformer or circuit breaker. So I'll go to breakers and disconnects, circuit breakers. So I'll just go with the first one. Don't worry about the symbol. So just click and you can have yourself a circuit breaker. Click OK. We'll add other details later on. Right, so let's add a transformer. Icon menu. I'll go to one line components, look for transformer. So I'll take obviously I don't want that one, so I'll click cancel. I want the one made up of the 2 circles. So I'll try this one. Okay, so that's the one I want. I'll just click OK, and then finally I need a disconnect switch. So go back to breakers and disconnects. There's disconnect 1. I'll just go with this one. I'll just take the first one. Disconnects loop bigger than what I expected, so I'll place it over here. I'll just click OK. So I'm going to have to scale up the other things to match. Must have scaled it up last time, so I'll scale these ones up as well. Just highlight everything and go to the home. So home, we want to use scale. I'll just randomly choose a base point and make these appear bigger. I think this is big enough. Okay, yeah, I think this is big enough. And so I'll bring them closer to my template to see if they are to the right size I want. In comparison, okay. Just put them back there, and I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. The circuit breakers should be a little bit bigger, so again I'll select and scale them up. Okay, now that we have almost everything we need, what I'm going to do is to create the incoming line, this one. Just create one and then make a copy of it. So we need a disconnect, circuit breaker, disconnect. So that's what we're going to do. So start with this. You can just make a copy of it, copy and put it here. Then we need a disconnect. So again, I'll just make a copy this. I'll put it here. Then I'll rotate this, obviously. So rotate. And choose to face up or down. Let's just face down. If that is our down. So again, I'll take a copy of this, facing downwards. So I'll move it over here. So that's good. Then I'll take a copy of these, both of them. Just copy. These are for our circuit breaker, so I'll just put it. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be in line. I'll slightly move this one downwards, so we can move it down like that. So we can place a circuit breaker in the middle. So again, I'm going to I should take a copy first. Should take a copy of this first and rotate the copy. So rotate, choose the base point. I'm going to go for reference this time. So I can draw a line through like that. Then either face there, I think that is good. So I'll copy this. I'll copy and put it here. So that is okay. Then again make another copy of this, copy and put it down here. So that's good enough. Yeah, so next we are going to make align these components, make sure they are in line. We should actually do this, like click on one of them and then right click. You see that kind of menu. So you click on align and then select all the other components you want it to be in line with, and then press enter. So they place themselves in a line. Yeah, so that is okay. So now what we are going to do, what I did is not to use the wire, because the wires are hard to work with. The snap settings of these wires don't go well with these one-line components. So the other best option, since this is going to be like mostly printed on paper, no simulations involved, so the other best option is to use the line tool. So I created a layer and I created an additional layer. I called it line. It's over here. I created a layer, I called it line, gave it a red color, a little bit of line weight, 0.05 millimeters. So you come here and make sure line is active. So that's the one which is active. So what I do is to use the line tool and go from here to there and continue to draw and connect these. Okay, just continue because it's easier to use the line tool unlike the wire tool. For those that snaps are working with the line tool unlike the wire tool. So that's what I'm using. And finally this point to that point. Okay, so now we're going to edit the details of these components. For the disconnect, I don't really need to put anything, so I'll get rid of that tag. Click OK. So for our circuit breaker, I'll double click. Probably, yeah, okay. I'll just double click there and go through this, navigate through the menu. And so here where it says tag, you can call it CB1. And where it says description, okay, I'll first click OK and use the right click menu. So we can use this one gives us a better outlook. So we can put the ratings here and the line description here. So description line 1 and description line 2. So for our description we can put that is SF6 circuit breaker type with that kind of insulation. SF6 is sulfur hexafluoride gas. It's used to extinguish the arc when the circuit breaker reacts, or it's a vacuum circuit breaker. It uses a vacuum to extinguish the arc. You should be knowing this. And so that's the only thing I'm going to put there as our description. Then for the case of ratings, we can use the one I already put here. Rating, we have incoming circuit breaker this. So sorry, that's 132, 250, 2500 amps and 50 kilo amps. For the short circuit current, that is 50 kilo amps, and then the rated current is 2500, and then this is the rated voltage. So we can put all three here, 132. This is small k, capital V, comma. I have to put a space, so this is 2500 amps, and then our short circuit current is 50 kilo amps. So you can click OK, and the details will come here. No, I don't have to update, so I'll just click skip. So that is what I have. Okay, yeah, alright. So you can get rid of this other tag here. I can just double click or use the other menu and delete. We've gotten rid of the tag. So we have the incoming line. We can add the text later on. Yeah, so now we can have this. Okay, I'm going to create this and then copy it around. Okay, so for our bus coupler, yeah, create that and then copy it around. So we have a transformer. I'll make a copy of the transformer, put it here, and then I'll copy this. So make a copy and put it here. And wait, it's supposed to be a circuit breaker, not a transformer. Sorry about that. So I need to have a circuit breaker facing in that direction. I'll make another copy. For some reason I've copied the transformer as well. No problem. Get rid of that one. So I have our circuit breaker. So I need this. So make a copy. Copy from here and put it somewhere. Yeah. Then copy this as well. Copy and put it here. Then you also need some disconnects, so I'll make a copy of this as well. So copy, yeah, just like that. So the rest is easy. Now I'm going to edit the tags, put a description, and also remove the tags, and then also align, just like how we did with the first method. The incoming line. So what I've done, I've managed to make copies of these. I've edited the tags and put ratings. Then I've also made a copy of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a bus bar again using the line tool. So for you to draw with the line tool, you just need three things. Polar tracking should be on, so make sure it's on. Make sure this is on. Show snapping reference lines, and also make sure object snap is on. So make sure it's on, and you only need endpoint, intersection, and apparent intersection. So use the line tool, click and track. Just simply track that point. Make sure they are, we are making right angles with each other. Then click and join. Then do that for all the rest of the three corners of your mesh. Do that and click. And the third one, track that point. Over here, click and join. And then lastly, the fourth one, track this point, click, and you're done. So now we are going to select this and change the line weight. Select, and then just come over here and say line weight. You want it to be 0.53. So if your line weight didn't change, it's because this is off. And if you can't see this, it's because this is off. So make sure this is off on, and you'll be able to see that. If it's off, you can't see it. So turn on line weight, and then you can turn on and off like that. Yeah. So now let's connect the incoming lines. Where are they? I have copies here. So select, move. I'll just move this over here, somewhere there, and also move this. So select, move. Actually, I press copy. Doesn't matter. Just take that copy over here. So we have those two incoming lines. So I'll use the line tool to draw a line joining this to this, and then I also draw a line joining this to that. Okay, so for the rest, I'll just finish up the drawing because the video is getting too long. Yeah, alright, so over here I have a finished drawing with all the labels and everything. So you already know how to do this. You can right click and check. Here I have ratings. Put some description, impedance 8%, then AN is short for oil natural, air natural, okay, the cooling system for the transformer. So the rest is obvious. Component tag TR1 and the rating is over here. So that is what I have. So for these other things like incoming transmission, you just go to text. You can use single line text, and so you can type incoming, transmission. animation like that. You can edit the text if you want. Of course, you can move it, you can copy, you can move anything you want. Change the font size. So we already covered those in one of my videos. So you can always edit the text and annotations. You can choose to create a style, manage text styles over here. So you'll be able to edit your text. So now what I'm going to do is to let me get rid of this. I'm going to copy everything here and rather move. So we move it to our template. Yeah. So now it's properly placed in our template. So if you want to edit the description here, you can just double click and type whatever you need. Mesh substation, mesh substation, layout, mesh substation layout. Okay. So if you want to change the text style, you can choose whichever text you think you want. So maybe you go for 4. Yeah, just like that. So click OK when you're done, and then if you want to get rid of this, just double click on it. It's highlighted, just simply get rid of it, click OK. So you can edit. Right, so finally I'm going to show you how to print this on our layout. I'm not going to use this. Let me use one of the finished drawings. So for instance, I have this like I showed you earlier, is an A3. So all you have to do is to click print. This time around you don't need to go to the paper space. You don't need to go here. We are going to print directly from our model space. So in our model space we have all these. So I will show you how to print this, and then I'll show you how to print the one on A4. So just click print, and you've selected DWG to PDF. Okay, make sure that is selected. Then you use full bleed, ISO full bleed, of course. Now this is an A3 that you want to print on, so make sure you choose this orientation. This is landscape, so choose that, and that is the preview. And make sure you are printing landscape like that. So don't worry about the preview here. Just click on the window and then select, draw out a window to select what window you want to appear on the paper. So that is the one. Also make sure this is checked, center plot, so preview, and see if that's what you want. If the preview is good enough, you can go ahead and click print. So for my printing, let me just put it on a desktop. I'll just say single line diagram, maybe number 5, like that. So I'll click save. Then if you have an app like mine, Foxit, it will open the drawing automatically. I don't know if Adobe Reader does the same. So this is your drawing on PDF with your details. Okay, you can zoom in and out, but this should be it. So let's print another one. Let's print a different one. Yeah. Right, so now let's try the A4. So for the A4, I'm going to go with it doesn't matter what I choose, maybe this. So just again go ahead and click print, DWG to PDF as usual. Then it's already selected for us, ISO A4. Make sure you choose that one in this orientation, which is the same as that of your template. And you are printing in portrait, so make sure it's still portrait. Otherwise, if you click landscape, then the drawing flips on its side. So you want the drawing to be upright. Again, we are plotting a window, not display or extend one. It has to be window, so click so that you are able to draw out a window. So I want to draw from there up to that point. Make sure the plot is centered. It should be centered. So click preview. So if you're okay with this preview, with those details, you can click print. Okay, so I have here, I'll just change the figure to maybe 2. So click save, so it will print to PDF. Okay, so now that is my PDF. PDF of my drawing with all my details. Okay, so yeah, I think that is it for this video. Alright, so we'll catch you next time.